We're live.
Yeah. Like I should start talking now?
We should.
What if I don't want to? I want to let T-Roy
Just-
chewing.
Just sit there, just look at the camera for an
Just
hour.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Shalom, Biggie. I see you sitting there. Travis is here. What up, Travis?
Hello.
T-Roy in the house. What up, T?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing okay. The tan looks good on you.
It's been a good weekend. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I see the pool is open and flourishing.
Wide open, absolutely. Had the family in town this weekend, so we spent quite a bit of time out there.
Yeah. Did you get a new raft? Is that a new raft I see out there?
There is a new raft. Yeah, Javier has been introduced. It's a llama. Yeah.
Javier the llama. Now, did you name Javier or?
No, Skylar named him. I just got him. But
Okay.
the flamingo is dead. Sorry to say, didn't survive the winter, and the unicorn is only partially available. The lower ring works, but the neck portion is not sustaining air. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The neck part isn't.
Yeah, so the head just flops now. You fill it up, and then it's like
Lip
boner
picks
killer.
all over. Just
Yep. It's like
Yeah.
thinking about grandma naked. You fill it up, and then just drop.
crashes down. Yeah, that's an image I won't soon get out of my head.
There you
Even as
go.
I've seen my grandma naked. Remember that story?
Them titties.
Them titties. Yeah, them big old titties. Flapping up. She's ironing a blouse. Scarred my 12-year-old head for life. Anyway, how you guys doing? Everybody doing okay? You guys are all in Michigan?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yes,
Weather's
correct.
nice, yeah? Getting some good weather around there finally?
Been beautiful.
Too hot.
Oh, Jesus.
Too hot. It's perfect.
I've actually gone
Carl-
out golfing a couple times. And
How's the game?
well, T, you were with me my last round of golf when you
Kinda.
first got here. We literally got out of the car after a 2.5-day drive and then went to a golf course, and neither of us could swing a club, walk. We're so sore.
I couldn't
from
even
just
walk, let alone swing a club.
Sitting in that seated position of a car ride for 2.5 days. It was like, boy, this used to be a lot easier to get up and be mobile.
Yeah.
So you gutted it out though, and were able to play the round. I think I got 2 holes in.
It's something like that, yeah. We even tried to do it like we were going to do like a scramble, play a little ham and eggs, you and I. We'll just do some best balls so we don't have to really
Yeah.
exert ourselves. But yeah, you couldn't even pull that one out.
Yeah, I couldn't really breathe at the time. If you remember, I was struggling.
I do,
just to-
yeah. It was not the
So-
best of times.
It was not the healthiest of times. I will have you know, I got through 18 holes
All right.
the other day. I played
that
probably 16 and a half of them.
That's pretty good.
But
That's
But you know
actually a
what?
lot. I don't play 18 usually.
Yeah, and the time before I went like, geez, like we'll go, but you're not leaving after 3 holes. Like if we're paying for it, you know, you at least have to ride in the cart for 18. I'm like, fair enough. If I'm dying, I'll just sit in the cart.
18
and so-
holes, that's a little old for you, isn't it?
Huh?
Just kidding.
Well, I gave up after 15 holes last time because I got blisters on my fingers. Like I started tearing up my hands, so I bailed on that. But this time I taped them up with Band-Aids and went out there, and you know what it is? I would have done this at 20. Like I just get bored of golf after 15 holes. I've always said it should just be a 12-hole game, 13
We had
hole.
that conversation, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Like 12 to 14 holes would be perfect.
It would, right? Once you make the turn at 9, it's like, okay, you got a couple
Not
holes
quite,
left.
not quite done, but by the time you get through 18, it's just a little too much.
Yeah, I'm just exhausted. I'm just bored of swinging that fucking club. So, but anyways, I'm
I
getting.
think it probably helps if you're a lot better, but and I'm not gonna slam at you. I'm just saying in general. Like I feel like if you're really good and you're going out there knowing like you have a goal of like, oh, I want to hit a 95. I don't know, whatever's good.
95
then it's probably
a goal, but yeah, I hear you. No, you're
95 would be amazing for me, but
yeah. That would make me hang up.
Under
my
a hundy, that's my goal these days. It's just under a
Undy a-
hundy. Yep, keep it under a hundy.
It is all relative. G gets so fucking pissed off. I think he's officially PGA ranked as a 9 handicap, but he used to be like a 2 or a 4 handicap, and so now he's like, this game sucks. My game sucks. I can't. I'm like, suck it, dude.
I don't even know what handicaps mean, by the way. What does that mean?
So if
I don't even.
if par is 72, what is par? Troy 72.
Generally 72, yes. So if you were
72.
if you shot an 82 consistently, you would be a 10 handicap. get the math on
Gotcha.
that, E? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how
Yeah.
it works out. Right.
So
Okay.
if you go out with someone and they're a par shooter and you're a 10 handicap, it's a way to go. Okay, let's bet on the game, but you're getting 10 strokes right out of the jump.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. But G will register his score every time he goes out with the PGA site and all that shit, so it updates his handicap.
Right.
I think he's like a 9 now or a 10.
Fucking hack.
And a fucking hack. Dude, it is so unforgiving. Like
Embarrassing.
I would be such a better golfer. I'm such a better golfer in Michigan. Like it's just out here, the desert is so You're like, oh, that's a baby slice. No problem. That'll open up over there. No problem. No, it doesn't open up over there. And it's like, I'm not fighting a rattlesnake for that fucking ball. Forget it. And so I lose a shitload of balls and, G's constantly bitching, but dude, just getting out of the house though is so nice.
Oh, for sure.
Bad day
I
golfing's better than a good day at work, as they say.
They do say that, and I would argue that sometimes that's not necessarily true.
Fair. Yeah.
I've had some of those days on the golf course where I literally want to snap other people's clubs. I'm so angry at my game, but whatever. G's starting to lighten up in the Warden a little bit. I actually went to the store today to buy ink
Hot damn.
for the printer, which is I didn't think that day would come, but. Are you guys getting out and about? I know, Travis, you're taking the boat out. T, you're at the pool out back, but I don't know if that counts.
No.
I mean, I went up to Mackinac last weekend,
Yeah.
so I did that. So that was
Was it even
cool.
like open, or what? I mean, what was
Yeah,
going on up there? Could you do anything?
Did
you go to the
the
island?
deal was no. The original plan was I thought it would be like cool a month ago when quarantine was happening, like legit. To go, my plan was originally just go by myself. I was gonna bring $5 pizza and beer, and I was just gonna get drunk at a campground. But then it wasn't open, so I kept having to push it back. And then the campground I was at, even as it was, they were only allowing you had to have sustainable bathrooms. So like we had I did a cabin, and so you had to have a cabin or an RV, and so it was pretty much empty. And the town was open, but again, pretty much empty. Like you know what I mean? Like there was areas that I think there was like probably a fourth of the shops were actually open.
Yeah.
But I did go, as crazy as I've been about it, in the end, there was this pub that's open, and they had a full-on patio, and I did end up doing that. But I walked onto the patio. I didn't walk through the restaurant. I like that they wanted you to walk into the restaurant still. I just said, fuck that. And I just walked into the patio and sat down and got a drink. But, like, I will say that even though I was in the patio, and I wasn't inside, it felt really fucking good to have someone bring me a beer, sit there.
Are they masked up proper?
They were. They were. I mean, a lot of people around me weren't. Well, you can't be, I guess, when you're in there because if you're eating.
Right.
Were you wearing a mask? Well, you can get that. Take it down.
Yeah. Look, I wear my mask when I go out, but I'm saying I guess you can't really once you're sitting there eating. They really only asked you. They were asking people to wear a mask until they got to the table. Then you were able to take it off, I guess. So.
Oh, okay.
But I did sit on a patio and have a beer.
Up as they go. They're making this up as they go. They're just inventing things. Like, keep the mask on till you sit at the table. Obviously, you're not going to sit there and drink a beer and you're just going to take your mask off. And the more you drink, the more loose you're going to get. The more you're going to want to mingle with other patrons at the bar. Like social distancing at a bar is the most funny thing to me. Like I've been to the bar. And 3 shots and 2 beers in, it's like, dude, you're fucking hitting on people on the other side of the bar. You're just, you know what I mean? Like all those concerns, even if you're like seriously concerned about stuff, even the most liberal concerned person and conservative person is going to be like, what's the harm after a few shots and a couple beers, right?
For sure. I mean, I only had one, but you're right. If you actually went
end of the rail is a hot chick at the end of the rail. You're not going to not go talk to her.
Yeah. I mean, I only had the one on the patio, but you are right. If I really drank, if I really decided to start having some, then you would start to do that. But whatever. It did feel good, though, I'll say that.
We finally open tomorrow down here, right?
Yeah.
Up north opened a week or two ago, but tomorrow officially restaurants and bars open back up for dining inside or whatever.
T, are they doing the thing where you got to only 50% capacity or 30% capacity?
Yeah, whatever their exact stipulations are, but there's criteria involved with it. It's 50%, and servers got to wear masks and gloves and all this. Basically the same thing that everybody else is doing, but we finally get it down here now. So,
dude, I put this on the retail industry to fucking properly social distance and mask, and knowing that the general public are fucking assholes and stupid, I put it on you guys. Like, don't put me in the position of regretting that I came here, because when I went into Walmart and there's a guy I'm paying for, the ink for the printer, and he's got the mask over his nose, and I'm not going to say anything to him. And personally, I don't care, but I know a lot of people do. A lot of people are concerned about it. It's like, dude, you have a responsibility. When we went to the golf course, the first time we went to a place called Quintero. And Quintero, it's a nice club, and they were great. They walked up to us, keeping a distance, and G was like, hey, I got a whole handicap here. We need to be able to take this cart up by the greens if need be. And they're like, no problem. Type something in. The cart is good to go. And then they were like, oh, we send you off with a twosome here. G's like, no, I don't want to go off with another twosome. They're like, no problem, sir. You can go off between now and the next 8 minutes or whatever, and you're fine. Went off as a twosome. The next time we went back, G's got his mask, and the guy, and G goes, yeah, we want the same setup as before. I need this cart modified so it can go anywhere. And the guy's like, well, you're going to need to go in and register and tell them. He's like, why the fuck would I? The whole point is not to go in. I'm trying to social distance here. And the guy starts laughing, and G goes, what the fuck is so funny, man? The fuck are you laughing at? And the guy's like, oh, well, and I'm like, God damn it, dude. I'm just getting comfortable.
I know.
Being in the position to go out, you guys have a fucking responsibility. Like, if you're employing people, just go, dude, there are a lot of people. I wouldn't say anything, but I know there's a lot of uncomfortable people. It's like, your wait staff has to be wearing their fucking masks. I'm sorry. Even if it's bogus and bullshit, just give the illusion and do it properly. Teach them how to do it. You know, it's like, I don't know.
No, you're right, dude. I saw this people. I was driving the other day through like Milford or whatever, or South Lyon, and they had like this. They actually, believe it or not, had like, I don't know if it was like a farmer's market or or something, but something like that going on. And most people had these masks on, and again, whether it is or not, whether you believe it or not, that's like, it's kind of irrelevant. But assuming that the mask is a thing, it's like there's these two people on a bench talking, and one has the mask on, and one has what you said, the mask around her neck. And I'm just saying to myself, I'm like, look it, you have the mask around your neck, so you're aware of some level of that. You think it should be a thing. You sitting on the bench talking to this person, that's exactly when you need to be wearing it, you idiot. Like, if you think that it's a thing, like
it's just, we're going to have to deal with this for a little while. Like, Troy, you remember Cave Creek, the town next to where I'm at?
Yeah.
It's the place you bought hat and sky and clothes, some shit when you were here. It's like this
a little touristy Indian kind of town thing, whatever.
Yeah.
I
guess it's touristy, but it's it's a really popular area, and the weather's always nice, so it's like all kinds of like outdoor patio bars and restaurants, shitloads of them. And here's a Harley bar, and it's just motorcycles galore. And I've gone by there, I'll just go get the fuck out of here, go for a drive, and it's been a ghost town. There's a Dairy Queen. There's usually a drive-through line out the shit for that. But other than that, all those little knick-knack shops, Troy, that you went into and I went into, selling a lot of turquoise stuff.
Yeah.
Dead. Well, I went by there a couple days ago because Arizona finally opened up fully, and it is fucking packed. And I mean, nobody gives a shit about social distancing. Nobody's wearing a fucking mask, dude.
Well, according to CNN, it's not. COVID-19, I guess, is gone because you literally could watch for an hour and not hear one word about it. So
George Floyd died. So George Floyd, it turns out, was the cure for coronavirus. Who knew? All we had to do was kill George Floyd, and coronavirus doesn't matter anmonor.
We'll see how this works out with the protests in about 10 days. See how much it spikes.
The social experiment is going on. We've decided to just try this and act like, isn't it hilarious how 2 weeks ago it was like, if you go outside, you selfish prick, you're basically murdering human beings. How dare you? And now George Floyd dies like a vaccine was thrown out in the world. And now it's like, if you don't go out there and protest the injustice of this man's death, you're basically saying you're admitting you're a racist.
It wasn't the black community hit disproportionately hard on this whole epidemic. pandemic, whatever.
Duh, Mother Nature's a racist too. Obviously,
Fair
that's
enough.
why that happens. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
always love that. Disproportionately affected. I was like, well, what? Okay, let's break that down on why it's. I don't think they're targeting, but
don't ask any further questions.
leave it
Troy.
at that.
Just take that at face value.
disproportionately. I love that word.
I saw this person the other day had this thing, dude. When you mentioned that, it's like they shared some article. They saw some article that says, 20,000 new cases, and it due to protests happening, and the person shares the news article with their personal commentary of, this is not because of the protests, you idiots. This is because of rednecks needing to go out and go to the beach and have burgers on Memorial Day. And my point is, like, does this person not realize that if his statement is true, that these new cases in this article, who cares if the article is true or not, doesn't matter. If this article is true, and these new cases came from the rednecks going out to the beaches on Memorial Day, then you can write the same article in 2 weeks about the if he's saying that, oh yeah, 100% these cases came because selfish people went to the beaches, the same amount of people are going to get sick in 2 weeks later because of this. Like,
but it's not selfish when you're doing it for the greater good of humanity.
Right, of course.
It's not for your own personal gain. It's for the greater good.
Good point.
Yeah, you're balancing that fine line between helping humanity and hurting humanity. But I think the fact
lose.
I've decided, I think maybe I'm gonna post a picture of a black square as my support.
You gonna do that?
I don't know. I think I missed the day.
You're so brave.
If I do it now, I mean, does it still hold?
No, I think it's actually better if you do it after the fact. You're not a sheep. You're not a fucking sheep, dude. Do it on your own time. You do it. You show support as you need to.
All right. My phone is black. I'm showing support.
There you go.
It is Pride Month, right? So can I put the Pride flag over my image on Facebook? Is that helping? That helps, right?
I think you have to put a black stripe in the rainbow. Is the only way that actually technically works.
Yeah. Fuck. So many rules, dude.
I know.
So many.
Who can keep track?
Yeah. It does make you go, huh? When it was like so adamant that if you walk outside without, properly distancing and masking and all that shit, you are a menace to society. And how, George Floyd died, and it's like, dude, that, to E's point, Ding, it stopped. Like, the whole corona conversation is basically stopped. You can still read articles, but what is nobody understanding? Like, you basically have a football stadium amount of people in every major city all over. Like, what's the difference between that and just going to a Lions game on Sunday?
I saw this guy post this thing too. Here's a great. This is like, it's like, to me, this is exactly it, dude. This is some random person on Facebook. He says COVID-19 is over. Tens of thousands descend on Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, other cities protesting the blah blah blah. Impossible for the fears of just 2 weeks ago to be justified for the sake of the right to peaceable assembly. Now we do not care now about the fears of yesterday. We care about now. And I'm like, dude, no offense. I'm totally on board for the meaning of the protest. But you can't just declare a virus is over. We now no longer care about these fears of 2 weeks ago.
Fits your agenda.
Like,
Yeah, exactly, Troy. Exactly.
What are you talking about?
No, it's whatever fits the narrative of the day.
Yep.
That's all we care about. But it's, people like, like us that were going, because I was on the fence believing how bad this coronavirus was. I didn't think it was as bad. Some people didn't want to leave his room. I get it, to each their own. But to act like now it's nothing, like this is more important. Like the lack of social distancing going on at these protests, riots, looting sessions, whatever you want to call them, is hilarious. It really is comical. And to the point where it stopped all these people. Like, I think Michigan was one of them, was like, yeah, the whole plan of opening in stages, fuck that. Like, they've just scrapped a lot of that all of a sudden.
No, it's still going in phases. But the irony is Whitmer was just out in the big protests, like arm in arm, face to face, shoulder to shoulder with everybody, and she was the one condemning everybody that was, we're going to have to stay shut down because you guys are outside in Lansing protesting this, you're reckless. And now she's out shoulder to shoulder with everybody. And there's pictures of her with people like without masks. And it's just,
right.
votes matter. That's what really matters.
I wonder if that hurts anyone in the end, because the votes she's going after are the people that want you out there protesting.
Yeah.
So maybe she doesn't get hurt at all, but the irony and the hypocrisy are just hilarious.
It's just pandering.
It is, I know. And now, how do you guys feel about the police? Do we need to abolish the police department? Is that
I'm
the next?
still a fan. I'm not going to lie. I like them.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't choked me to death, so I mean, I have that going for me. My white privilege shines through, but
Yeah.
I think we should keep them. I think that's a good thing.
Boy, oh boy. Wow. What year is this?
I know. Hey, I'm telling you.
Year is this? Jesus, Troy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got a cocktail going over there or
Yeah.
what. Yeah, that is a hot take.
Well,
wow, that was Troy Courtney that said that, not me.
The thoughts expressed on this show do not reflect the opinions of Detroit guys.
Notes of Troy and Troy only. He doesn't want to blow up the police department universe.
Oh, I know.
Huh, it's
Shame on
crazy.
me. Shame on me.
This, of course, is in the wake of George Floyd's killing. I'm not going to blah 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 it or yada 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 it like Isis just did.
Oof.
When he mentioned,
Disrespect.
in the yada yada yada, you yada yada George Floyd's death. I wasn't going to hold you accountable, but I'm not going to do the same. I'm not going to yada yada this man's death. And let's face it, this guy had a healthy career going. He chose the career of criminal, but we
And
his
porn,
life matters.
right? He was a porn guy, wasn't he? I heard he was a porn star. Or at
Was
least
he?
had
I mean,
done
he's a-
porn. I heard, yeah. Big Floyd or something was his name when he went by. Yeah. Go figure.
But nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying I want porn stars knelt on to death.
When is someone going to ask Gretchen Wilson, by the way, in a press conference about the rumor that
Wilson.
she takes it up the ass? Or Gretchen Whitmore. I always call her Whistling for
About
some
Stretch and
I know.
Gretchen? Is somebody going to bring
Gretchen,
that up?
Gretchen, yeah, Gretchen. I want that addressed. That
What
she
is-
takes
what
it up the ass.
Undressed.
You didn't hear that?
No, what is it?
There was a big thing going around saying that people coming out saying, "Oh yeah, I knew her in high school, and she had a nickname called Stretch and Gretchen because she used to take it up the ass all the time."
Yeah. It went all over Facebook and then started
It
getting
seemed
yanked
pretty
down.
legit.
I swear.
Seemed pretty legit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
I feel like, I swear to God, I know you can make things up. I know you can obviously people can just say anything they want.
that's
but I
not
swear
that sounds real. That sounds
Sure.
based in reality. Stretch and Gretchen.
Well, I saw a few where
How
someone
old
was.
is she? Is she like our age, Troy?
Yeah,
Is
right
she-
about, yeah, she's late 40s, mid-late 40s, like 48
Dude,
maybe?
if you went-
Jesus, type it up.
If you got the nickname Stretch and Gretchen,
Yeah.
I
I still say that should be the guy's nickname, not hers, but whatever.
yeah, she was the victim of the Stretch and Gretchen.
Yeah.
She was more like Stretched Gretchen.
Yeah,
I
stretch,
always call her
stretch.
Gretchen Wilson. I don't know, but let me see. She's 48.
Boom! I nailed that.
Yeah, so she's a tad older than us. Whatever, but
But it's 100%.
dude, back when we were in high school, a chick labeled, if we had a
Yes.
Gretchen named Stretch and Gretchen,
When you
and she
Google
was
it.
she was known as Ass Queen.
That's all that comes up. You didn't even spell it right.
I went to. I know. I
People knew what you were
And it
spelling.
still comes up with every result.
Yeah, it's that's awesome. But dude, if we went to school with someone and it was nicknamed Stretch and Gretchen, you'd never live that down, dude. That was not like that would not like today. If there was a Gretchen, if there's a Gretchen in high school now and she takes it in the shitter willingly, like no big deal, whatever. To each their own. They're free to do that. And
I'm amazed
don't
it took that
actually
long for it to come out. No pun intended.
Yeah. No. Oh, I hope that's true.
Me too.
And how many dudes does it take before you can officially be given the nickname? Like, can one guy
Character
give,
witnesses.
Yeah, can it be just like one guy blew out her asshole and now
What
she's
if-
Stretch Gretchen, or does it have to be like, oh yeah, Bill, Tom, Joe, they all fucking blew her asshole out? Now
He said,
she's
he said,
Gretchen.
she said, right? What comes down to it, if this guy says, yes, I 100% fucked her asshole, and then she comes out and goes, no, you did not. There's no proof. There's no evidence. How do you
I
know?
thought the point was that it seemed like it was almost like not like she was a slut, but it just seemed like.
Listen,
I
if
felt
you're
like it
taking
was
it in
more
the ass in high school, I mean, I guess that is good birth control, but I'm
especially
gonna,
back then.
go with slut.
Dude, how long is it going to take? Do we have to send E to a press conference, the next press conference for Stretch and Gretchen Whitmer?
Yeah,
to
we can
go-
get him media credentials. We can get him in
We
there.
can get a media credential and have him go there and just go, ma'am, there's some rumors circulating online, and I'm just wondering if you could answer to the nickname Stretch and Gretchen. Is it true what we've heard?
No, you need to slip it in as like a two-parter. Yes, Governor. I have a two-part question. First is, how do you feel about the reintroduction of the COVID? And second of all, is the Stretch and Gretchen true?
Is that story true? And if so, does it continue to this day? Was that a phase? Was Stretch and Gretchen a phase you went through?
Are we still playing the back nine, or is that shut down? What are we doing?
You know, the time I came the closest. This isn't nearly as like. It's not hilarious in the sense of a Stretch and Gretchen situation, but one of these years I did go to the Detroit Grand Prix, and I had the media passes, and at that one I was able to go in and sit in the freaking the post race like interview and stuff like that. And there was a driver named Juan Pablo Montoya who was there, and he was the top 3 drivers in the race got to ask questions. They were there for questions, and this is so, it's like I said, it's not in that realm, but I went to a NASCAR race in Charlotte about 10 years ago, and I went to a situation where he was doing an autograph signing, and he was like eating like fucking like popcorn chicken like during the signing, and I was kind of standing away, and I was like, Jesus, because this fucking guy, like I didn't like him at the time as a driver. Like, could he fucking put the popcorn chicken down, while he's doing these autographs? And it turned out, I was like, the next day, I was like, dude, that chick was standing next to you. This chick was standing next to you when you said that. It was his wife, I guess, or whatever. Anyway, I thought in that press conference, for a split second, I thought about asking him, is it true that one time that you were sitting here at a press conference, at a signing, eating popcorn chicken? Or I don't remember how I was going to ask it, but I remember thinking, like, holy fuck, I could technically ask him this. I would never be in this position in my life to do this.
Don't you think it's fair game, though? I mean, the shit asked in press conferences nowadays, like, nothing's off limits. Like, if you were there at a press conference, I'm just curious. A lot of stuff going around Facebook and social media in general, Ms. Governor, and just wondering what your thoughts are. Just your thoughts.
Well, the problem with her press conferences,
you're a public figure. These things are being said. I want to know: do you have a gaping asshole? Is your shit still blown out? Was there any truth to the rumors of Stretch and Gretchen?
How big was he?
The problem is with her at this point with her. The problem is she's not really doing what's called press conferences. She's doing literally situations where she's basically her people are handpicking. There's 3 people allowed. It's one for print, one for radio, and one for TV. And she's picking who those people are. What you would need to do is find out. I wish if I had thought about it now, I suppose. But if you could, you need to find a place where, like when she was protesting the other day, when she was walking down the streets, and then you would need to be standing there and yell out, "What about Stretch and Gretchen?" Or something.
See, but that seems crude. I would want to do it as from the Free Press, we've got so and so here.
That would be awesome.
ML Elric from the Free Press, he asks this question, and then Mr. Fady from the Detroit Cast, you're like, yeah, ma'am. You stand up with your notes and your pen, adjust your glasses. Yeah, ma'am. I was wondering if you could provide some context. Stretch and Gretchen rumors that started in 2019 seems to have some steam behind it, some momentum. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I would do it if I was in a position to do that in this like phase. Like, if I was in a position where I could do that, I would. It would be. I mean, you'd be shoved out of there very fast. I would imagine. But
the reality, the weird thing is that's gotten pulled from Facebook.
Yeah.
Those posts have been gotten yanked down, and that's it's a slippery slope for me. Right? That's
dude, they said
bullshit.
They took down pictures. I heard they took down the pictures of her standing by those people without masks on.
Did they even take those down?
I think I heard that they did. I heard someone say they started.
But I know all that Stretch and Gretchen stuff was getting pulled, was getting yanked. It's like, wait a minute, where do you get off?
There's an easy. If she wants to do one of those like knees to her ears close-up pictures of her stretching her butt cheeks apart, and show like, look, does this look stretched out to you?
Pristine.
It looks like a nice,
unadulterated.
one way only shitter, then fine. You go, you know what? That was fake news. Ms. Gretchen, I apologize for thinking you had a gaping asshole from your high school and college days. I apologize for that. And then we pull those stories. I have no problem with that. But until there's some proof.
There's proof.
There's the Stretch and Gretchen side of the argument?
I guess.
Stretching Gretchen.
Is it gone? You can't find it, can you?
I don't know. I'm trying to look right now. but
Yeah,
just
no, I
wish-
bet you. I'm telling you, I saw that. I mean, I couldn't find it anywhere. I didn't have to really look, but I
Yeah.
saw that it was getting pulled, and I didn't see it anywhere else. And that's some weird shit, man. I've had some things that disappear on this through this whole George Floyd stuff. Not that I've said anything like too crazy or controversial, but I've put a couple things out, and all of a sudden they were gone. I'm like,
Really?
But I didn't get flagged. I didn't get like a notification that just said, hey, your shit
Such
goes against our
bullshit, dude.
standards. My shit was just gone. Now, I don't
That
know
is
if somebody else,
such
because it wasn't on
shit.
my page, it was comments on other stuff. So I can't say whether or not somebody else
Wonder-
deleted it off of their page or what, but it was just
And,
gone.
Let's be clear. I think the story is far. And I'm just getting wind of this. I have more respect for her now than I ever had.
Sure.
For Stretching Gretchen. I've just learned about this now. This is not, believe it or not, this is not headline news here in Arizona.
Should be.
But yeah, it's not like there's not precedent for these things. I was watching. I don't know if you guys watched the documentary. I think it's a 4-part documentary. It's called Filthy Rich, about Jeffrey Epstein.
I saw
wanted
a
to
little.
do
I
so,
started
and I
watching the
should.
first one. I got distracted and I haven't been back, but I plan on watching all of
Okay.
them.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's
Look at this, just fucking people. It's just on Twitter. And it's so easy. It's not even that big of a deal. But he just goes, "At Governor Whitmer, no one is listening anymore. You're stretching your luck." I know it's so simple, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh, but it's great. It's great. People are gonna that aren't aware of it are gonna be like, why do they keep finding a way to involve stretching? It's just
the
'cause
thing
it
is, the thing is, whether she's acknowledged it or not, at this point, she must know that it's a rumor. Like, there's
Oh,
no
she's got. Oh,
way.
yeah. Well, why do
Yeah,
you think it
she's
got
a-
pulled? She bitched. It's
Right.
not like they did that of their own accord. We're like, oh, I don't like what they're talking about her. We're going to take that down. Zuck's not in there going, oh, no, she's my favorite.
Oh.
We're pulling that.
And
guy just-
what if the fact is she's a fucking ass queen and loves it?
Maybe, sure.
That could be the story here is Gretchen Whitmer comes out and acknowledges, look, guys,
That's the only chance she's got of me voting for.
but yeah, look, I'm a gape queen and I've got no problem with that. You should try it before you knock it. I mean, she might love the story and she might be at home going, why the fuck do they keep pulling? I worked hard to make a name for
I
myself.
want it out there.
Gretchen.
Proud of that stretching, right? She had that put on her letter jacket, just stretching.
I don't know why this is so funny to me. Like, it's just all these, just reading these things. There was a lady on here yesterday telling the story of how she read somewhere that guys in high school went with Gretchen Wilson, called her Stretching Gretchen because she likes sex in her butt.
That sounds like a bot. Who's gonna write sex in her butt?
It's just so funny to me, the idea
That
that this
sounds
is a
that
thing
sounds like
now.
a Russian bot to me. That one.
Maybe.
Going back to Jeffrey Epstein, though.
Yeah.
The reason I think it's okay, these are fair lines of questioning for a public figure, is Jeffrey Epstein gets deposed for the 2006 case that he was convicted of, and where he became a convicted pedophile, where he admitted guilt and blah blah blah. I think it was prostitution, soliciting prostitution of a minor, some shit, whatever bullshit thing they gave him, so he served almost no time and all that stuff.
Right.
But in the questioning and the deposition, they're asking him about his egg-shaped penis, which is just fantastic. And to the point they're asking, they're like, we understand it gets bulbous. And I'm going, what are we talking about? It looks like a fucking anaconda that ate a baby or something.
Right.
Like one of those, and they're like, yeah, it gets small and pointy at the top. And he stands up and is gonna walk out of the room like, I don't have to put up with this line of questioning. But hey, we heard that you've got a bulbous egg-shaped dick that from the base, and then it gets fat, and then it gets really skinny at the top.
Well,
Is it relevant?
if there's a girl, a young girl, or whatever the plaintiff in this case is, to say, well, how can you prove it? Well, he's got this cock that is shaped like a fucking egg, and it's big at the bottom and pointy and weird at the top. It's like saying, well, he's got this mole on this fucking inside of his ass cheek. Well, you'd have to have intimate knowledge to be able to say that, and if you did have a bulbous egg-shaped cock, then you might be guilty.
Sure. I mean, they tried that with Jackson. Remember when they said he had a gateway it looked like a gateway computer box? It was all splotchy because of his vitiligo or whatever.
Just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I mean, that was the rumor, though, is he had vitiligo on his cock, too. And so the
Yeah.
kids were like, yeah, it looked like a gateway box. I mean, or we said that, but we knew what they meant, basically. So, yeah, if you get a chance, Isis, let's get you some credentials and have you ask it in a respectful way. This is the
Of
go.
course. Well, the public needs to know this. So
I don't want
We
you to.
demand answers.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to vote for you, I think I deserve to know some things about you.
You're going to want to have someone else in the press because you're going to want to video that, watch him get dragged out by his shirt.
Yeah, I wonder what they would do. They probably would drag you out of there, but then you can throw a fit and start screaming it.
Oh,
I
God,
demand
yeah.
to know about Stretch and Gretchen. I demand the public deserves to know. Just start screaming as they're dragging you off. So anyway, I could talk about Stretch and Gretchen for hours, but moving on to other things, defunding the police. I never thought we'd see the day where people were so short-sighted and these rallies asking for this, and actual politicians, supposed leaders, hilarious by the way, thinking that this is a good thing, especially for the cities that they have to police the hardest. Yeah, let's just abolish the police. We talked about it the other day, but that's Black Lives Matter's mission.
Yeah.
And I go to their site. It's their mission statement is to defund police departments. Minnesota, their leadership is saying to get rid of it completely, not just defund it, but
Really?
eliminate the Minnesota Police Department.
We don't need it. We'll self-police. That's going to work out really well.
So Black Lives Matter is like, well, we'll get, true justice reform armed. They'll be armed. It's like, oh, so nationwide, how many of you are in favor of Black Lives Matter putting together the police force? Yeah,
I'm waiting. I'll wait.
that's a hard fucking pass.
Yeah.
No offense, folks.
Yeah.
That is a hard fucking pass. And what are we, toddlers? What are we, toddlers, that we think that the most simple answer is to a complex problem is something like that? That's something Marshall would say. What? If
just
they're
get rid of the
beating
police.
black people, why don't we just get rid of the police? Oh, there's a good idea, 5-year-old. Yeah, there's a brilliant idea, 5-year-old. Let's just get rid of the police department. And these people are actually standing there. Do you know how much of the country's support they have? Fucking not much.
I heard
No.
isn't LA like starting that, something along those lines? They're implementing some sort of defunding for it.
Yeah, Eric Garcetti trying to take like $150 million away from them or some shit like that. $150 million is what they're planning.
Let's not put that into more training or anything like that. Let's just take it away from them. That's a way better idea.
Well, the thought is we're gonna we should put that money towards new books for black people, I guess, or
Jesus.
Like
Underprivileged children, maybe? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, they just say blacks, but it's just so patronizing and sad. Like, I'm all for. I think you do invest in the police department and go, these people are being asked to do jobs that they never signed up for. How about we get them some proper training? And how about we, it's not fair to make them go to a house and all of a sudden they're counselors for a couple that, a guy can't stop beating the shit out of his wife or his girlfriend. It's not their job. They go there and they uphold the law. So when someone's breaking the law, they get caught. By the way, they don't just show up at your house.
Yeah.
I think that's a misunderstanding. They don't just show up and knock at your door and be like, is everything legal in here? I've done tons of illegal shit. The cops don't knock on my fucking door and harass me about it. Because I'm white. Because I'm white. Is that the deal? I'm only getting a pass because I'm white.
If you were black, they'd be just knocking down your door every other day.
It helps, I'm sure.
Is that what it is?
I mean,
Dude, I feel like
to some extent it does, but
do you really think the reason that, dude, I don't go around. Here's the difference between me.
When I say you're white, I kind of mean though you're white and look at where you live, dude. You're just in an area that they're not gonna do. They're not gonna. Franklin police isn't gonna go over to your house and just go, everything legal in here.
Yeah, well, I've lived in other places that weren't quite as nice too, and they didn't.
No cops anywhere would just come to your door and just be like, hey, without call or probable cause or whatever, right, wrong, or indifferent. But
yeah,
that's the last thing they want to do.
But you know what? Some people just can't stop getting fucking, you know, I would expect that the cops would have a problem if I started breaking into my neighbor's house and stealing shit to buy drugs.
Sure.
Right? If I was robbing people or paying with fake $20 bills, I would expect that people would have an issue with it. And to hold this guy up as a martyr of society, did he deserve to die? Fuck no. No, it's a horrible video to watch. We can all agree. But I don't know if that was a white guy. I just don't know how many people would be championing him as like, yeah, this is the shining example of like his behavior was 100% that of a criminal. I don't know what else to tell you. The guy's done 5 stints in prison, not jail, prison, including holding a gun to a pregnant African-American woman's belly and having his buddies rob the house.
I asked the question today, if that happened to
5
be,
years for that.
if that happened to be a black cop kneeling on his neck, would we be where we're at right now?
We might be, because we've seen that before, and it's a systemic problem, Troy. It's a much
I get
bigger-
it. I understand that it is, and I'm not saying it's not a problem. I'm just saying if it were a black cop doing that, would it have been the amount of outcry that we have right now?
No, there would be outcry, but not to the level. I mean, the perfect scenario: white male with the authority of a badge and a gun taking down a minority. In that,
well, this gives it the opportunity, because now it is also a race thing. It's not just about police brutality. It's not just about excessive violence and all that. It also gives it the race card. They get to pull the race card on it too, because now what's the whole, people are denouncing their white privilege. Everybody's, it's the white supremacy and the Klan, and everybody's, it's a total race thing right now. When that's, I mean, is there? And it's not, but the reality is that it's a police issue. It's a police brutality issue, and it's a profiling, and but it's not it's not about white supremacy. It's not like these are Klan guys. Like he's got a swastika on his fucking neck going down there saying, But
and those police officers were not all white. There was an Asian. Tuthao. I think there was. Fuck, I wish I would have looked this up beforehand, but I thought there was a black, a fucking white. It sounds like a bad joke. A black, a white.
Like,
no, there wasn't.
The Benetton commercial. No, I think they were all white, and then 3 whites and a yeller. No,
I think it was an Asian guy, maybe a Hispanic guy.
No, there wasn't black. I think one was more. It was like a Hispanic or something, maybe.
Hispanic, Asian, and white. I could have sworn there was another one in there. Is there another race I'm missing?
There was 2. No, I think it was 2 white guys, and one guy was kind of brown, and one guy was Asian. I don't know. I mean, I say brown. I don't mean that in derogatory. I just mean he was Mexican, Latina, Hispanic, or something.
I haven't heard much more beyond this, but I could have sworn I heard that one of them was on day 3 on the job, and one was day 4.
I think that was the other 2, right? There was Tuthao and Homeboy that did it originally, and then the other 2 that were on the back, they were, it was like their first week.
Yeah, finally getting into action. How do you hold
a bad first day?
Like, we've all been at a new job, right? Dude, the amount of pressure to be able to stand up to your superiors and go, I think this is wrong. Fuck you, rookie. You've been on the job, 12 hours?
They're looking at the other guy like, well, he's still kneeling on him. We better stay on him. That's why the other 2 are kneeling. One's on his hip, one's on his foot. Just, I don't know, fuck it. Stay on him. Stay. He didn't move. We're staying here. Fuck him. Stay it.
This is, I guess, what we're supposed to do in this situation.
Must be protocol.
No. That would suck, dude. Your first week on the job. Oh, that would suck.
First and last.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
shortest tenure as a cop ever.
It's like when I tell
yours was almost longer.
Mine was almost longer. I did one day on a drive along, on a ride along. I'm basically the same as Tuthao.
Yeah.
My career lasted as long as this. And by the way, nobody in the community ever accused me of racial profiling or abuse of power. I have my track record as a cop is very crystal clean.
There you go.
Just have you know. So yeah, all these people, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, wants to defund the police. The bitch in Minnesota, Omar, Ilana, whatever, she wants to abolish the police, which is hilarious because it's like the police are there to uphold the law, and Congress is in place to pass law. So if there's no cops there to enforce laws, then there's certainly no reason for Congress to pass laws. So without the police, we don't need them either. They're just citizens roaming around. That's about how much sense their idea it makes of just shutting it all down. And by the way, if you're wondering, there's some reports going around about confidence in public institutions. Like, what does the public think? I know you see it on TV and it's blown out and, oh my God, the whole country wants to fucking end the police work and blah, blah, blah. There's almost no public institution that's more respected than the police department nationwide in polls. Harris polls have been done on this. The military gets good marks with people with a great deal of confidence in them. The church has dropped dramatically in support. They're down in the 20%, 12%. News on the internet gets horrible as far as like an institution that's respected by the public. Newspapers in the 22% respect them a great deal. Television news, 18% trust the fucking news. 18%. That's in 2019. The police are in the 50s. One of the highest ones. The military, police, more so than education, the Supreme Court, newspapers, any of your media, forget it. The police is a more respected, including in the black community. So when you're watching all this shit unfold, don't think that it's just, everybody thinks this. They don't. Lots of people, and it would be horribly tragic. The places they police the most and need the most policing are the communities that would be devastated if you remove the cops. That's just anarchy. We've seen this play out in third world countries where you don't really have a police force, and the biggest bully on the block runs the shit. That's all that means. If you've got no one there that can have your back when shit's going down in your neighborhood, you don't want lawlessness. You just don't. I know it sounds cute on a fucking poster or when you're marching in the streets, but it's asinine to think about it. This Minneapolis mayor thought he's going to go in and make changes. He went up there. I love these videos too of these people. They're making people kneel. Have you seen these? Where they're like asking a white person, this white nurse, this poor bitch. This guy's like, with Black Lives Matter, and my organization wants to know if you'll get on a knee and take a knee, and it makes white privilege and power. And this fucking idiot's down on a knee, like begging forgiveness for her whiteness. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe. And so it's just some dipshit behind a camera.
Right.
Just some dipshit, and putting people on the spot. Please stop doing that. But they asked him, you're going to put the mayor of Minnesota on the spot at one of the rallies. He's out there. He was the one, by the way, that was on his knees sobbing at George Floyd's funeral, at his gold casket. Sobbing. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to his city. That'd be sad, too.
You think it's selfishly that he was sobbing?
I just think it's collectively. I'm not going to say selfishly. I'll just say collectively.
Might have inspired his tears. Gave him the, like an actor, gave him his motivation.
Well, we lost a good one with George. I mean, yeah, he was the victim. He left a lot of victims behind, too, but still didn't deserve to die. Trump, meanwhile, is seized on this proposal. This is going to help Trump. I'm telling you, this is going to help Trump. He gets blasted in the media and at the rallies for this. But being a law and order guy and saying, no, we are not going to put up with this shit in our cities is going to be a welcome message to most of the country. Trust me on that one. He wrote out, Sleepy Joe Biden and radical left Democrats want to defund the police. I want great and well-paid law enforcement. I want law and order. This guy arrived at the demonstration, the Mayor Jacob Frey, in plain clothes, wearing a face mask to address the protesters. He thought he was on their side. And then someone says, Jacob Frey, we have a yes or no question for you. Yes or no, will you commit to defunding the Minneapolis Police Department? He's like, so is it hot out here or what? Is supper arrived a little bit early? No, don't avoid the question, sir. Will you? And he's like, no. And this chick's like, yes or no, will you commit? He says, no. All right, then get the fuck out of here. Bye. And this guy has to, tail between his legs, walk through the protest as he's being shame. They're ringing the bell. Shame. And they blew him out of town. So, all right, get the fuck out of here. Bye. And guess what we're going to do next year? Vote you out of office. So this guy's like 37 years old, 38, young buck getting in there, thinks he's part of the team. Oh, I'm on the team, and just gets run out of Dodge. So in a statement, he doubled down on his refusal to totally abolish the police department. And here's where he's trying to kiss ass while saying no to the mob. If you're asking whether I'm for massive structural reform to revise a structurally racist system, the answer is yes. If you're asking whether I will do everything possible to push back on the inherent inequities that are literally built in the architecture, the answer is yes. If you're asking whether I'm willing to do everything I possibly can throughout the rest of my term to make sure that the police union, the police contract, the arbitration system, and some of these policies that resulted in problems for specifically black and brown people and murdered over a series of generations, I'm all for that. I'm not for abolishing the entire police department. I'll be honest about that. Ooh, that's not going to go over well with them. They're not going to want to hear that. Omar says it's time to disband the Minneapolis Police Department. I will never co-sign on funding a police department that continues to brutalize us. I will never stop saying not only do we need disinvest police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. The department is rotten to the root, and so when we dismantle it, we get rid of that cancer and we allow for something to rise. Any idea what that something would be? Because I can guess, and I don't think people are going to like it. And that reimagining allows us to figure out what public safety looks like. That is such a simplistic view. Do you have any idea how complex some of these issues are? How complicated something of a group that large, federally funded is? Like, yeah, let's just rip that apart and we'll reimagine something different. Okay, you do that. And someone said she's gotten a little bit of backlash. See, this is where the movement will lose a lot of support. Do we have a problem with police brutality? Yes. Do police agencies need to be reformed? Sure. Do we need police disbanded? My God, no. And if you do, the poor will suffer the most. Amen. They will suffer the most.
Yeah, for sure.
Trump lambasted this guy's total lack of leadership. I can't stand back and watch this happen to a great American city, Minneapolis, total lack of leadership. Either the very weak radical left mayor, Jacob Fry, get his act together and bring the city under control, or I will send in the National Guard and get the job done right. These thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd. I won't let that happen. Just spoke to the governor, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. And this guy's like, Minneapolis, we're strong. We'll be just fine. Yeah. Anyway, I still don't know exactly what we're fighting for. No one's been able to really tell me. I don't know if you guys have figured out what we're supposed to do.
I'm curious of what the end is when that
we stop. It's
when you stop. What is that benchmark going to be of? Because anything that happens now is just a knee-jerk reaction in a way. In all honesty, okay, let's do whatever. Like yanking down they've been fighting over the statues down south, the Confederate and the bullshit statues for years. Years they've been fighting over it, and they've been getting. But now all of a sudden, in the darkness of night, they're running out there and they're yanking all these fucking statues down. Well, is that really progress? Is that really, or is that just a knee-jerk reaction? Is that just a Band-Aid on a bullet wound? Okay, shut them up. Let's get them off the streets. Let's get them to stop fucking burning shit. And the reality is that it's going to be a process. I mean, even no matter what they do, like something about whatever that can't wait for 8, whatever that shit is, the thing they're supposed to do. I don't remember all the ins and outs of it, but. Even whatever policy change, guess what? It's not okay to put a knee on a guy's neck until he dies. So it's not like you can, now they're going to put this thing that says, okay, guess what? Okay, now you can't kneel on a dude until he dies. And they go, oh, well, okay, cool. That's what we wanted. That's what we were asking for all along, right? But it's not. Although this shit is out of protocol that's being done anyway. So there's already protocol in place that says they're not supposed to do it or how things are supposed to be done. And these things that are being done. So I understand it's about accountability and it's about not, back in, and there has been a lot of bullshit where they bury things and they, back their guys and stuff. And so there probably needs to be more transparency, but those aren't things that are just going to happen. It's not like just
but
a
I don't
switch
think
is
that, I
going
don't
to
think
flip.
that when you do things like this, though, that there's, like most things in life, though, just like you say, it's slow to make governmental change. It's slow to make this stuff happen. So I don't think that when there's movements, there's never a direct answer. There's no goal. There's no perfect hold the cup moment on stuff like this. So you just do what you do. And if the more sting you make, the more you hope that, although those are knee-jerk reactions, the reality is those are something. I know in this day and age of social media, unfortunately, it's annoying because it doesn't like seem like it's ever enough. But on the same hand, this will peter out just like everything peters out, and you have to strike while the iron's hot to hopefully get some of even some of those knee-jerk reactions. I think in the end are beneficial to the cause, probably, or at least they see it like that.
It's all good things. I don't mean to sound like it's not progress. Anything is progress.
But I'm just saying, when you say what's the end game, the end game, nothing's good. There's never, when stuff like this, there isn't an official end game. I don't think there ever is, whether you would agree with the fight or not. I think that
but if you're going out, and demanding something, don't you think it's fair to know what you're demanding? If you're demanding to dismantle the police, I'm sorry, I'm out.
I understand that, and that's obviously ridiculous.
You're demanding proper funding for police training. What body cams was a big one. We want to fund body cam. Okay, I can get behind that. Fine.
Okay,
let's have a video or something. But this is the point. We're 13, 14 days into this shit now. I don't know what you want. Don't just say justice. Don't just say justice. Don't say equal rights. You have equal rights. Everybody has the same rights in this country. Those laws exist. There's no law you can put on the books to fix equal rights. We already did that.
Right.
Equal rights exist for every person, whatever color you are. You might not like the policing tactics in your neighborhood, or you might feel you're profiled, but you're not going to get better rights. You have equal rights. So when I see people with signs, equal rights, we want equal rights. Well, you have those. To Troy's,
yeah, but I mean, they do. But
there's already rules that you're not supposed to kneel on a guy's fucking neck for 9 minutes till he's dead. I don't care what color he is. That person broke the law, broke protocol, and was arrested and is facing second-degree murder charges, which could possibly be upgraded to first. And all 4 were fired within a day. Okay, that we saw wrong there, and if you want to make the argument, without screaming and bitching, none of that would have happened. Okay,
that's a fair argument for one.
Maybe,
and when you say it's only
13 days later, okay, you accomplished what you wanted. What do you want from me? That's why I keep asking, wink, wink, tongue in cheek. Do you want me to put a black square in my Twitter to show support? Should I shut down business on a Tuesday to show support? What do you want? If I don't know what you want, I don't know what it is that I can do to make racial harmony. I know Troy said it the other day. Look, man, I feel like I'm not the problem. And they would say, you saying you're not the problem is the problem. And I would go, no, I don't think Troy's the problem. I don't think I'm the problem. I don't think Jesus is the problem. I don't think Travis is the problem. We're sitting here just trying to get through our fucking lives just like everybody else. The less interactions with the police, the better. And I like the police. I trust them. And I want as few interactions with them as I can possibly have. Like, I'm not comfortable around the police. It's not just a black guy, a brown guy, or whatever minority that's uncomfortable around the police. We're all uncomfortable around the police. They hold authority over us. They uphold laws. So I don't know what it is you want. We're now 13 days in.
But whoa. You keep saying this 13 days, dude. You keep saying this 13 days.
13 days of riots and protests. Look at Manhattan.
I know.
We've looted every major fucking store in Manhattan. Boarded up, trashed.
But you can't.
What do you want, E? What do you want, liberal E?
You can't just say, it's been 13 days. Movements take sometimes years. You know what? It takes years to get change sometimes in how you want things to be done.
So we should just keep trashing our major cities. So Tiffany's needs to pay for it?
Again, I don't think it's fair to make I don't think it's fair to make assumptions that all those people have anything to do with the people that want actual change and are doing protests that are.
Your protests, then you better root them out. I know I would if I had.
These bad cops have hijacked your cops. These bad cops have hijacked cops. I mean, that's
we understand as a society that not everybody's perfect, E. Doctors kill 250,000 people accidentally every year. We don't just go fucking doctors. Doctors, they're all killing people. They're killing people. They kill way more fucking people than cops do. But we don't run around going, all doctors are evil. All doctors are bad. They're killing us. They're killing people. Yes, we understand there are shitty lawyers, shitty doctors. There are fucking people with hate in their heart in every position of power known to man, including the police department. But every time something goes down, when you've got 20 million interactions with the public on a yearly basis, you're gonna have some shit go down. I don't think we do billions and billions of dollars worth of damage and destroy our major cities because of that. That's asinine.
Yeah, I think that's. I just
what
think
do you
that's getting
want
pulled
then?
into the narrative. I think that's getting pulled into the dividing narrative. I don't know what they want. I'm just saying. In fact, and by the way, I'm not. I don't
Whoa. What?
I don't know what they want. The people that are choosing to protest.
The black.
The idea of the days means nothing. I mean, it means nothing. Because if in their mind, now I don't agree with defunding the police and in any capacity. So if that's what they want, I mean, they're not going to get it.
Yeah, it is. It's on their homepage. Black Lives Matter.
Well, Black Lives, but again, not everybody is a part of Black Lives Matter. Not everybody at these things.
You think is running this? This is Black Lives Matter's movement.
Yeah, but I don't believe that that's most of the. I mean, a lot of people are just normal people that have gone their whole life with having to walk into a store and getting, eyed over everything they do. And so I don't believe that everyone's part of Black Lives Matter in this thing. I think that just like anything, it's a grouping together of people.
Yeah,
and what's going to make the TV? What's going to make the news? What's going to make what's going to be on your papers?
Not Black Lives Matter. I mean, that's a big part of it. That's a group that has a voice and a foothold.
And who's going to get the attention, by the way? Who's going to get the attention? People Black Lives Matter looking like fools and pushing people down, or the people that are trying to do it, that are trying to really be like, you know what, fuck it. This is a thing I have in my life. I can't sit by anymore. I'm going to start devoting regular time in my life to seeing that there's change.
Well, where's the outcry when the 150 to 200 police officers that die every year in the line of duty? Where's the outcry for that? They don't deserve to die. They're innocent people just doing their jobs. I'm not saying that it's apples to apples, but you can't have it both ways. If you're going to bitch about innocent people dying, then you should bitch about innocent people dying, not just pick and choose certain circumstances of what you want to use for your platform. An average, I looked it back over the last 5 to 10 years, average of 150 to 200 police officers die in the line of duty every year.
Yep.
Right. That's okay. That's why. And if you ask some people, they'll say that, well, that's what they signed up for. That's their job. They put their life in danger to do. But is it? Is it really? I mean, it's a full circle thing. Like it's so bullshit cliche to say all lives matter, but the fucking reality is that it does. And you can't just sort of pick and choose isolated incidents to fit your narrative to say that this is okay, but it's not. And what about the cops and the civilians and the innocent people that have been killed in these riots and these protests because of it? They're collateral damage, but they say, but that doesn't really matter. What about George Floyd? Well, he was innocent too. Innocent to quote unquote. So were they. But the problem is none of them fucking deserve to die. But it doesn't make one better than the other or worse than the other. It's all on the same plane. And so it's a systemic problem across the thing, but everybody wants to just pick and choose their fight and their narrative and their examples.
I think the problem is when I was listening to you say that, because I agree. Obviously, I agree with you. It's ridiculous when it's seen as a positive that a cop got good, blah blah blah. But the problem is that they're just using. I think that they just end up having to use the death as as like this is very powerful. Now we can use it, and what they're really fighting back on is what I was describing: getting pulled over black, driving while black or whatever and shit like that. But those aren't very sexy. So you can't use that moment to get at the news because it's just a lot of little things. When a death happens, although more white people were killed by the cops than black people in the last year.
Probably double
but the problem is, but more white people are not pulled over while being white. So they have to use a powerful moment to fight back on all the little moments.
Jesus, you realize Troy and I were pulled over for being whatever once a week because we drove a shit car.
Was an asshole.
We were pulled over all the fucking time for driving shitty cars with fucking weed stickers on them. We made ourselves look like something that wasn't good for society, and we were pulled over all the time. We were profiled because of that. We looked like people that probably were up to no good.
I don't believe that's the same.
I'm not saying it's right. It's just the reality of life. And
well, wait. Okay, hold on. If you say that's not the same, I'm not going to say that it's the same as being black. But you can't say that it's not the same because how is that not profiling? Now, we grew up in an area which was predominantly white. Okay, so there
Right.
weren't a lot of black people, and I was with guys. I had a lot of black friends. I was with them when they got pulled over for NIF. Fucking been there, heard it, witnessed it. Period.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we were still profiled.
But that's not-
we were
okay,
still.
okay, you know,
I'm
and
not
that
just
was-
saying that I'm oppressed. And I'm not saying woe
Yeah.
me, but I'm just saying you can't say that it's not the same
Okay.
because in a way
I
that it
misspoke
is.
There.
Well,
I
I'm just saying,
misspoke
but
there.
we were profiled, we were targeted, we were, and that was
But
just
it's not
what.
on the regular. I misspoken, but that's not on the regular. You know what I mean?
it was
in
on
my
the
day,
regular
I've
for
never
us.
not for me. I've never been pulled over for no reason. Never.
Oh, so just because it didn't happen to you means it didn't happen? You're
I
arguing
don't
the
know
same
Then
that-
you're
I
part
don't
of the
believe
problem,
it.
me.
I don't believe it.
You're a part of
It's
the
not-
problem. You are the
Are you
problem.
going to argue that it's the regular? You can't. So
No, I think it's very hard for the general public at large to get behind. Like, if there's a white guy that's
that's irrelevant. But
no, it's not irrelevant
Yes,
because
it
you
is.
need support to make shit happen, to make change happen. When you parade up and you want honest discussion, we need to have open dialogue. Fine, let's have an open dialogue, but that means answering some tough questions as to why the 30 people that have been murdered since George Floyd's death, why that doesn't matter, why that's just part of change. No, that shouldn't be part of change. What are you talking about? Good citizens trying to protect their stores getting murdered, no arrest? That's not normal, and that's not good, and that's not honoring someone's name. That's
It's not
horrific.
okay.
And it's not okay.
course.
And most people don't see that as okay. And to put fucking angel wings on George Floyd and sell T-shirts and fine, you want to memorialize him, fine. But the fact is, his career was criminality. He was a fucking career criminal who never learned his lesson. His roommate can say all he wants. Yeah, George Floyd's character, he would never, ever spend a fake $20 bill. Bullshit. The more you read about George Floyd, I'm sorry. He was not the upstanding guy in society. He's just not the guy that I think if you're trying to get the masses to rally up and go, this injustice needs to stop. I think for a lot of people, if you're having an open discussion, open dialogue, honest, you can explain to me where I'm wrong. Most people look at Mike Brown and they go, fuck, man, that sucks. George Floyd, that sucks. But you know what? If you're going to be criminal most of your life, you're going to have interactions with the police. And if you're more likely that shit's going to eventually go wrong. The guy spent, how many years in prison for crimes, for theft, for strong arm.
I gotta stop you though. The problem though, that no matter what, I don't care what he did, that doesn't make it okay. And all you're doing right now is sort of excusing it or making excuses of why it's not that bad. And I don't care if he was a mass fucking murderer, he doesn't deserve to be fucking killed in the street. That's not that cop's place. Period. End of story. I don't care if he was shoplifting. I don't care if he was fucking. I mean, if you're sitting there picking off people from a bell tower, then yeah, you deserve one between the head. But when you're in that position, so all I'm saying is that his past doesn't matter. He had a life as a criminal. He had plenty of interactions with a cop.
Sure.
You roll the dice when you do that. I understand that, but that does not excuse or make it okay what happened to him on any level. On any level. Because he was caught, he was apprehended, and he was in custody, and then he died. And so I'm just going to cut you off a little bit because you going into his history doesn't have anything to do with what happened that day on that street.
I will give you that, and I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. But the likelihood of having something go wrong when you decide every day of your life is bound to end up in confrontation with the police.
Yeah,
that's a different story. Like you could say, and I've said it before. When you're talking about like, oh well, what was she wearing? And people, it doesn't matter what she was wearing. You're right. It doesn't matter what she was wearing. She should be able to what?
Your audio's been awful in my ears for like 45 minutes, and it just cleared up.
Why?
I'm sorry. I have no idea. You guys both sounded like the worst robots ever. I could barely hear a word you said, and you guys just cleared up for no reason, and I love it. Thank you.
Trav, what's going on? Is this whole recording going to sound like shit?
Nope. We already did this on the side. I apologize. I didn't mean to take us off the rails, but I'm so happy that I can hear what you're saying now. I've been killing it over here going, what?
Well, no, what I was going to say, though, is I should be able to walk down any fucking street in America with $100 bills glued to my body. I should, at 3 a.m, I should be able to walk through the hardest neighborhoods and be like, this is my body. It's not yours. But you know what? Some people might go, what are you thinking, dude? You had $10,000 in $100 bills taped to your body and you went walking through Shittsville. What did you think was going to happen? and you'd go, don't blame the victim. Don't blame the victim. He should be able to walk down the street with $100 bills taped to his body. Not your property. You have no right to touch him, to harm him, to steal his property. Yeah, well, but I put myself in a position. That's my whole point with George Floyd. If you put yourself in a position where people are constantly having to call the police on you and have the police arrive, sometimes
that has nothing to do with the movement at all, though. I don't know what that has anything to do with the movement.
Yeah, right. You're kind of crossing streams there, I think, a little bit. And even there, okay, yeah. So you can here's the thing: if you're going to walk down the street with $100 bills taped to you, yeah, you can expect to get robbed. And if you want to lead a life of crime, you can expect to get arrested. But walking down the street with $100 bills doesn't mean that you should expect to get killed. Just like getting arrested shouldn't mean you get killed.
Yes,
it's not. So it's not the same. You can, you can put yourself in a role you shouldn't be surprised you got robbed if you walk down with $100 bills taped to you. Yeah, you're going to get jacked, but it doesn't mean you're going to die.
It's my body, not yours. You have no right to touch it. Don't blame the victim.
You're going to get arrested, but arrested and killed are two different things, man. Don't.
I understand. You're missing my point. At no point should George Floyd have died. None.
Okay, then what does anything else have to do with anything?
That if you're going to lead a life that leads to interactions with the police a lot, you're bound to have something go wrong at some point. That doesn't make it right. It's just numbers.
But my point is
20 million interactions, there's going to be a dozen or so that go wrong and end in tragedy. You know that's not going to happen to? Isis.
No, you can't say that. You don't know that. You can't say that. He could be drunk and stupid at a NASCAR fucking infield and get killed too because he's stupid and not aligned. You can't say that. But that's where the difference comes. You can expect interactions with the cops, but you shouldn't die at the hands of the cops. Not in that situation. I'm not saying that there's not times when you are legitimately killed by the police under legitimate circumstances. That was the farthest thing from it. That's the problem.
Mike Brown is a good example of someone where people go, "Hey man, I would have shot that motherfucker too. No offense, it sucks. It's tragic that life was cut short, but." If I was the cop, I would have pulled the trigger too.
I said all along that was the wrong horse to back.
Yes, and everybody from the jump agreed that George Floyd is tragic and shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, okay, well, what can we do? Since we all agree that was bad, it'd be a different story if half the population went, God was coming to him. Fuck him. Interactions with the cops, he deserved to die. If that was the argument going on and the other half of the country was protesting going, no, this is injustice, but everybody agreed.
It almost sounds like that was your side there a little bit. Like, well, he's a criminal, so yeah, you get what you get. You roll those dice and sometimes you get snake eyes.
Oh, that's not what I'm saying at all. We'll just have to disagree to agree.
For sure, fair enough. I'm not painting you in a corner. I'm just saying that's sort of how it sounds. Like it's
I don't mean
not
it
apples to apples.
It's a very complex issue,
yes.
but
your odds are increased. Yes, but if you should never end like that.
If you want to have honest, open discussions, these are the types of questions that a lot of people are going to ask. Why did 20 other people have to die after George Floyd? That's a reasonable question, not to be shut out. If some people are going to say, dude, if you live a life as someone who has nothing but confrontations with the police, what did you think was going to happen? That's a question that some people are going to ask. They're going to ask difficult questions. Instead, you want to just mute them all. And I'm sorry, to watch these incidents go down all the time and see people with the best of intentions. Look at what's his name getting hammered today. Mark Wahlberg posted a picture, hey, rest in peace, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, blah, blah, blah. People want to go, in 1996, he was arrested. He said nigger, and he said Asians this, fuck them, blah, blah, blah. He beat up an Asian guy and blah, 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 called him a gook. It's like, I don't even want to get involved. Hugh Jackman. I don't personally know Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman lived 2 blocks from where you're sitting right now, Troy, for 6 months when he was filming a movie here. Lived just on the street, and by all accounts, people in the area said he could not have been a nicer, more generous person. He tweets out a picture of a cop hugging a black guy. Black guy's got tears coming down his face, and all he wrote was solidarity. A cop and a protester hugging. Solid. He's getting murdered. You don't get it. You don't get it. Like, he's trying to be part. He's trying to help. Yeah. So for someone like me sitting going, okay, what do you want? That to me, what's wrong with that? What's
At some
wrong
point, we
with
have
it?
to put it back
Treating
together.
stuff.
That's just it. At some point, this all has to come back together, and that's what the solidarity and things like that. That's my side of it. Is we got to put it back together. I understand both sides. Don't ever get it twisted that I don't, and I have full empathy for all of it. I don't feel like I have to check my white privilege at the door or anything when I come in because of it. But I can empathize. I understand the situation. I'm not fucking ignorant. I know what's going on out there, but. The reality is that this is a point in time, and like I said, we have to put this thing back together. We have to figure this out and come together. And change doesn't come overnight, and you're not going to fix the bullshit racist mentalities. And it's fine. I came up with an analogy for this. It's been so back and forth about the protests and the riots and all this stuff, and people don't want to necessarily differentiate between the two, and I sort of have to, right? Okay, I understand the protest. I don't understand the riots, and I don't think they go hand in hand. And that's people think I'm an asshole or I'm out of line or out of touch because of that. Like, well, they have to speak up. Like, well, okay, but not kill people and not burn buildings and all that kind of stuff. And we've had this conversation before, but I came up with an analogy for it, and this is probably horrible. I don't know. I might get fucking killed for it. I don't know. But
thoughts and views expressed on the show are those of Troy Courtney.
yes, not expressed by Radio for One Studios.
You know what? Maybe get in front of this. Apologize first for what you're about to say.
No, I'm not even going to fucking apologize for it. This was the analogy I came up with. So there's a woman walking down the street, and there's a black guy coming towards her, and she takes her purse. It doesn't matter. She takes her purse and she kind of puts it off to the side, and she kind of shimmies over, and she's, cowering kind of as she walks by. And the black guy stops and goes, "Ma'am, I couldn't help but notice that, you were scared when I walked up, and you kind of hid your purse and you put it off to the side. Is that, were you scared?" And she was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why? Is that because I'm a black man?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, Don't you think that?" He says, "Don't you think that's like kind of fucked up that you just assume that I was just gonna, steal your purse or attack you just because I'm a black man walking down the street?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then he takes her purse and fucking leaves. That's how I feel about what the riots do to the protests. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were at that point, the protests are there. You're okay. You had it to the point. Like, don't you think that's fucked up? And everybody's like, "Yeah, okay, you're right. That's kind of, that was silly of me to assume and hide my purse and all that." And then he jacks her anyways and goes. That's the riot. That's the murder. That's the fucking punchline of it. And you're like, okay, well, you just took all that fucking momentum away.
And for people on the fence that have their own lives that are dealing with, believe it or not, being a white man in America is not just fucking roses and rainbows every day.
It's not so bad, but yeah, all right.
It's not bad, but dude, trust me. There's plenty of days you're just as depressed and just as bummed and feel like the system's rigged against you too. We all have those feelings. Shit, I can't even remember where I was going with that. It doesn't even matter. But when people want to get involved and help, though, I think it's important. If you're saying you don't get it, well, then help me get it. Don't trounce me. If I try to send this out in solidarity, I'm trying to help. Hugh Jackman. You know what Hugh Jackman's crime is? He was friends with Ivanka Trump. He's friends with her.
Sure.
And so he's not allowed on our team. He says, "I don't discuss politics with Ivanka Trump. I've known her for forever. She's a friend of mine." Well, he's got a friend. Ivanka seems like a fucking pretty cool chick. I'm sorry. You can hate on the president and his policies, but Ivanka's done quite a few good things. We don't need to get into Ivanka, but he's friends with her.
I'd like to get into Ivanka.
Hell yeah. So would the president. That's his crime against humanity. Is he was never on our team. Don't you forget. He's friends with Ivanka Trump.
Can we stop being fucking teams, please? That's
Right.
Can we break it down to its core, and can we just stop being on two different teams, and can we all figure it out?
Yeah. And then at the same time, you get people, and I don't like, it doesn't register. It doesn't compute with me how you get to be a Texas Republican county chairman-elect. Hasn't even taken office yet. And he sends out a tweet. He's not taking, he's not going to take that office. He's resigned now. Sends something out, says, he quotes MLK with a banana next to it. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere with a banana on it.
Yeah, well, then you don't deserve to be in office.
Like, how the fuck do you get to a leadership position and think that's going to fly? Or you would even
Texas.
want that to fly?
Because Texas. That's why.
I mean,
he'll probably still get elected in Texas.
yeah. No, he's not. But I want
know.
to say
You
it
know
was
what I
near
mean.
Austin. I want to say it was near Austin, which you can't get any more liberal than Austin, Texas. But he deleted it and saying it's unfortunate that the sentiment of the quote and my admiration of Dr. Martin Luther King has been overshadowed by people's misinterpretation of an image. What, pray tell, was the misinterpretation, sir? What you need to just get the fuck out of here. And other Republicans, I was glad to see other Republicans come out and go, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Ted Cruz came out, was like, please step down, asshole.
Right.
You are not helping. How do you possibly think this helps?
Don't you know, MAGA loves the black people.
Yeah. What if you get to lose? I'm with him. Anyway, we'll get some email. We'll get out of here. Thank you guys for everything. Let's see here. And this is from NFL Bob.
Hey, it's my favorite new listener.
With our conversation when we were wrapping up the show last time, he was like, by the way, Trump said something, blah, blah, blah. We just kind of shit on Trump for a minute and then went, sayonara, signed off. Chief Sitting Bull and Tonto, assuming I'm Sitting Bull. At the end of show 1456, Mike was about to sign off, but he felt he had to rant about Trump before signing off. Not an unusual occurrence, as you guys get after most things deserving of a rant. After watching our cities burn based on the lie that police are hunting and indiscriminately killing black males, and seeing and hearing our political and other social leaders openly approve of this arson and murder, it crystallized for me that the only person standing up for our constitutional republic is Donald Trump. This is not my email. You can write in whatever you want. You can say the exact opposite. I'll read that one as well. Just saying. Why did we vote for him? We voted for him because we hate Republican and Democrat politicians. We wanted someone who would stand up to the PC bullshit, fight back, then flip the fucking table over. He has been lied about from day one of his candidacy and throughout his presidency. Have you watched that fucking Rod Rosenstein testimony before Lindsey Graham's committee? Who's going to fight for our Constitution and Republican small r way of life? Mitt Romney, Mike Pence, the ghost of John McCain? When Abraham Lincoln reinstated U.S. Grant from desk duty to field general against the advice of his cabinet military advisors, he says, I can't afford not to. He fights. Grant was a drunk, but he put in the strategy to win the Civil War and abolish slavery. Trump may be uncouth, but God damn it, he fights. He's all we have right now. I know people tire of the noise and the fight, but that's what they want. They want you to abandon Trump and go back to normal president, like Joe fucking Biden normal, trade relations with communist China normal, open borders, sanctuary cities normal, Green New Deal normal, admitting your white privilege under threat of being labeled racist normal. For them is one party rule with no opposition. If you like the way LA, Chicago, Detroit, New York City at all are governed, then there you go. Good day. I said good day, sir. NFL.
Good day, sir.
That was a mouth.
It was, yeah. That was well thought and well worded.
What'd you think, E?
I stand by what I say. I wish he would. He could win. For a guy who's all about winning, he could win so fucking easily. He could destroy these people if he just did it in a better way.
Yeah,
I know, but I think you're hearing the loudness right now. The very small percentage of people doing the looting, rioting. Granted, taking advantage of a situation. I wish more people would stand up, and there have been. We should report that there are groups in the rallies, Black Lives Matter, for lack of a better, given it, who it is. There are people in that group who have turned people in who are about to trash a building, and they've literally gone and sought out police and said, this guy is a fucking rabble rouser. We need him out of here. And so kudos to those people. You need more of them. You need to root that shit out. You'll get way more public support. I think in the end, we all basically want the same thing. None of us likes injustice. None of us likes the thought of people being taken advantage of or disenfranchised in any way. None of us likes that idea. If you're being honest and you're not a fucking just hate-filled racist, we all feel that way. But there are too many people that go, like me, when I watch the riots and the looters and all that shit, I go, I'm out. Fuck you. I'm not supporting that shit. Not doing it. Not doing it. Not going to write off police forces. Fuck you. Not going to do it. And
I just got an AP notice that says the Minneapolis Council majority backs disbanding the police force.
That's your leaders, folks.
There you go.
That's-
Disband the police force.
Not defund.
Not defund, disband.
Take
Bye
their
bye.
badges and guns. Yeah. I hope,
Unbelievable.
in a cruel fucking way, I hope they win. Disband it. Disband the Minnesota Police Department, please. And then call me in 2 weeks. Let me know how that's going.
I almost saw all the people that are out,
Someone's going to fill
wanting
that. Dude,
change is fine. Yeah, but everybody that's out saying fuck the police, blah blah blah, all that bullshit. I hope they get mugged. Who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? You going to call BLM? Good luck.
Yeah, call
You know how
BLM.
that goes.
They'll be right there to help you out.
Yeah.
So call us in a couple weeks. Let me know how that's going. Especially some of the most vulnerable communities in our country. You want to take their police department away? You know what? Take Franklin's police department away. Troy will live. We'll be okay without Franklin's PD. You know?
I don't know, man. They're pretty tough.
You'll be all right. Dude, they drive by and just make sure the lights are on and you wave at them when they go by.
Yeah.
We'll be okay. Take away Southfield's police department. Let me know how that goes. Let's see how that goes. Minneapolis.
Well, no, the take away Southfield's police
disband
department
it.
and we'll be the ones that are fucked.
Yeah. That's what you said. All right, let's get out of here, you guys. Probably pissed off people. I apologize for that, but actually, no, I don't. Fuck
Then
them.
we're doing it right.
Thanks for that. Yeah. Anyway, just trying to have open dialogue, honest conversation.
Be real.
I don't mean offense. If I offended some people, good, but I didn't mean to. Travis, thank you so much for being here, doing your thing, buddy. Thank you to Jennifer for allowing it. T-Roy, as always, thank you for being here. Isis, I love you, brother. Thank you for being here as well. And we'll call it there. Maybe we'll pick it up in a couple days. Any last words, gentlemen? Isis, do you want to encourage people to email you?
I mean, I actually have been reading. I haven't seen it, but I don't get an email. Travis is, by the way, I should say that Travis is basically broadcast now live from like my second bedroom. I basically live in Travis's basement at this point.
Why?
Because I've slept there twice in the last month, I think.
Really?
Hey,
Yeah.
guess
in
my
that room
invite
right
got
behind
lost
him.
in the mail.
Yeah, mine too. I'd have been
No,
there.
it didn't. No, I'm just kidding.
He's out on the lake with his yacht all the time. He's got beautiful bonfires going on in the backyard. Yeah, our invite's
I
still in the
know.
mail.
Crazy.
No one can hear you, Trav. Are you muted?
I've been talking this whole time. You
Fucking
guys
engineer.
never heard me.
Fucking
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's a
You know I
couple-
do that because I'm typing way over here. I don't want you guys to hear clicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about the clicking. There's a couple times I almost stopped, but we were in mid-discussion, so I just let it go. But I was like, Trav, you're muted. Trav,
It
you're
was another late night last night is all I was saying. And I
Attaboy.
said, Troy, I saw your pool party.
Oh yeah, we're doing good over here. It's good
Awesome.
times.
All right, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you for listening. We'll be back in a couple days. We'll do it again. Hopefully, you'll join us then.